Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
It's great to be here.
Today we're going to be looking at something that I think a lot of sales leaders struggle with, and that's really how to get sales training to stick. We've all invested in these programs,
Yeah,
and the team gets really excited about it. They do the training,
for sure.
but then, a couple weeks later, everybody's kind of back to their old habits.
Right back to where they started.
Exactly. So how do we bridge that gap between, that initial learning and then actually, seeing lasting change in our team's performance?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, right?
That is the million-dollar question.
And that's where sales coaching comes in. And today, that's what we're going to be unpacking.
Okay, awesome.
We're going to be pulling a lot of great information from this guide, Sales Coaching, the ultimate guide to accelerate revenue.
Perfect.
This is really targeted towards sales and revenue leaders.
Awesome. I love it.
So hopefully, if you're listening to this, you're in the right place.
You're in the right spot.
Um, so let's just start off with, kind of the basics.
Yeah.
What exactly is sales coaching?
Yeah, what is it? I mean, I think there's a lot of confusion.
Yeah,
It's more than just, telling your reps to make more calls
for sure.
or, send more emails or something like that, right?
Absolutely. I think, when we think about sales coaching, we really need to think about it as personalized guidance.
Yeah.
Equipping those reps to handle all of the complexities that come with the sales landscape today.
Yeah, it's a lot more complicated than it used to be.
Absolutely.
I mean, buyers are so much more informed now.
Yeah,
They're doing so much of their research before they even talk to a salesperson.
100%. They're coming to the table already, maybe even 60, 70% through the buyer journey.
Wow.
So you're right. It's not just about picking up the phone and, rattling off features and benefits.
Yeah, it's a totally different world.
So your reps need to be more than just product experts.
Yeah.
They need to be, trusted advisors. They need to be able to guide buyers through what can be, a really complex decision-making process.
So it's helping them to develop those skills and that mindset to be able to really successfully navigate these increasingly complex sales cycles.
Exactly. Yeah, spot on.
Okay.
Sales coaching is really that bridge between, that initial onboarding and training that we do, and then what happens after that.
Right.
So it's that ongoing development, making sure that your team's knowledge stays sharp
Got it.
and that they're able to adapt, because the market's constantly changing.
Constantly changing.
Right.
So I get that it's important, but why is it so crucial? Why is this something that we should really be focused on as sales leaders?
That's a great question.
I mean,
But
you have playbooks,
Yeah.
CRMs, all sorts of
I have
tools.
tons of resources available.
Um, why isn't that enough?
I think about it this way. We can give somebody a map,
Okay,
but if they don't know how to read it, what good is it?
that's a good analogy.
Sales coaching is about providing that individual guidance. It's allowing reps to come to the table
Yeah.
and openly discuss, what are the challenges that they're facing, and then being able to receive feedback that's tailored to their specific needs.
Just really giving them the confidence and the skills to use all of these tools and resources effectively.
Absolutely. And, it's helping them to connect the dots between theory and practice.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And, when it's done right,
Yeah.
we're looking at, some pretty significant results.
Okay, what kind of results are we talking?
So this guide was citing a 28% higher win rate
Wow.
and then an 88% increase in productivity.
Okay, so we're seeing real tangible outcomes here,
For sure.
not just, we feel good about it.
Right, exactly. We can actually measure this.
Okay,
But I think, we've got to address the elephant in the room.
okay, let's do it.
Sales managers are busy.
Super busy.
Right. Everybody is just go, go, go. So where do we find the time for this?
Right. How do we fit it all in?
How do we do effective coaching when we've got, a million other things on our plates?
Exactly. I mean, and that's what I hear from a lot of sales leaders is like,
Yeah.
I'm just overwhelmed. I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah. I totally get it. And it is a valid concern. Time constraints are a major challenge for us. We're all busy, but we also have to remember that coaching isn't a luxury.
It's an investment.
It's it's an investment in our people.
Right.
And, it pays off in the long run.
Yeah.
Even just dedicating 30 minutes per week per rep.
Okay, that's doable.
It can make a huge difference.
So it's about finding ways to be efficient with the time we do have.
Absolutely.
Maybe leveraging technology,
Mm-hmm.
focusing on those high-impact coaching activities.
Exactly.
But I think it's also about shifting our mindset from, coaching based on, our gut feeling
Oh, yeah.
to being more data-driven.
Yeah, 100%.
Actually looking at the metrics,
Yeah.
doing some A/B testing, really figuring out what's working and what's not.
Absolutely. We've got so much data at our fingertips now.
Right.
CRM data, call recordings, email interactions, like all of this can be so valuable.
Yeah, it's a gold mine.
It really is.
So ditch the guesswork
Yes, please.
and let the data guide our coaching decisions.
Let's get scientific about it.
I love it. Yeah.
And one other thing I just want to touch on quickly before we move on.
Yeah.
We've got to make coaching engaging,
Yes.
for our reps.
Right. Nobody wants to sit through another boring training session.
Nobody wants to be lectured to.
Nobody learns effectively when they're bored out of their minds, right?
Exactly. And especially in today's, hybrid work environments,
Yeah.
it's even more challenging.
So we've got to find ways to make it interactive,
Absolutely.
relevant to their individual needs.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that means incorporating technology, using virtual role-playing platforms, gamification,
For sure.
things like that.
There's lots of creative ways we can do this.
Yeah, so many options to really make this fun and effective.
For sure. And, speaking of specific techniques, I think that's a great segue into the next part of our deep dive.
Awesome.
So let's take a quick break.
That was good.
And we'll come back and we'll really dive into, some of the specific techniques that can help take your coaching to the next level.
Love it. Can't wait.
All right. See you in a few.
Welcome back.
We're back.
All right. So we've talked about why sales coaching is so important.
Mm-hmm.
But now let's get into, some of the actual techniques
Yeah, let's get tactical.
that can really help take your coaching to the next level.
Absolutely.
So this guide talks a lot about observation and feedback as kind of a starting point.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that actually look like in practice?
Yeah. I think for so long we've been, so focused on the numbers, the spreadsheets, the dashboards.
Yeah, just looking at the outcomes.
Right, exactly. And we kind of forget about, what's actually happening.
And the interactions.
In those conversations, are our reps actively listening?
Are they asking good questions?
Mm-hmm. Are they tailoring their approach, to each individual buyer?
So it's really about paying attention to those nuances of the interactions,
Mm-hmm.
not just the outcome.
The why behind, both the successes and the struggles.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then providing feedback that's specific, that's actionable, and that's timely.
Mm-hmm.
Not just, good job or you need to improve.
Right, like actually give them something that they can work with.
Exactly. Pinpoint those areas where they can really improve.
And this is where I think technology can come in to be really, really helpful.
Oh, for sure.
Things like conversation intelligence tools.
Mm-hmm.
The guide specifically mentioned Meet Record.
Yeah, great tool.
It can record those calls. It can capture insights. It can even provide like AI-powered feedback.
Yeah, it's like having a coaching assistant.
Exactly.
Right there with you.
So you as the sales leader can really focus on those higher level coaching activities.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Spend more time, doing that strategic work.
Right. Instead of, digging through call logs and trying to figure out what happened.
Exactly.
So it's really about, working smarter, not harder.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we've got technology to help us.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also, some of those classic sales coaching techniques
Yeah.
that I think are still really valuable.
For sure.
One that comes to mind is role playing.
The good old role playing.
The good old role playing.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I remember doing this back when I was, a new sales rep.
Oh, yeah.
And it was always so awkward.
It can be. Yeah.
But, this guide says that only 20% of sales teams are actually using role playing effectively.
Wow, that's pretty low.
Yeah. So how do we make it less cringeworthy
Right.
and more impactful?
Yeah, I think the first thing is, create that safe environment
Right.
where reps feel comfortable, taking risks, trying new things.
So it's about practice, not perfection.
Yeah, exactly. This is a learning opportunity. It's not about, getting it perfect every time.
Mm-hmm.
Second, make it relevant to real world scenarios.
Okay.
So instead of using, these generic scripts,
Right.
pull from actual customer objections or challenging situations that your reps are facing.
So make it as realistic as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then third, when you're giving feedback,
Yeah.
be specific.
Mm-hmm.
Go beyond just, you did well or try again.
Right.
Help them understand why certain approaches work better than others.
So it's really about making it realistic, making it actionable, and focusing on that continuous improvement.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
And, to make it even more engaging, we
Yeah.
can bring in some gamification.
Okay, I like it.
Right.
So I've seen this used in training programs, but how do we apply it to sales coaching?
Yeah, gamification is really just tapping into that natural desire for competition and rewards,
Okay.
right? So, you could set up leaderboards based on key metrics.
You could award points for, completing coaching activities.
Okay.
You could even create badges for mastering certain skills.
That's kind of fun.
Right. It's about making it fun.
Yeah.
It's about making it engaging. And, Salesforce research shows that companies that are using gamification are actually seeing, significant performance increases.
So it's not just about, making it fun.
Right.
It's actually driving results.
It's about the outcomes.
Oh, okay. I love it.
Yeah.
And one other thing I want to touch on is peer coaching.
Yes.
I've always found that I learn best from, my colleagues who are in the trenches with me.
100%.
So how can we leverage peer coaching more effectively?
Yeah, I mean, peer coaching is so valuable. It creates a more relaxed environment.
Okay.
It's more collaborative.
Makes sense.
And, reps are often more receptive to feedback when it's coming from somebody who, is in their shoes.
They've been there.
Exactly. They've been there. They get it.
And it also allows, your top performers to share their knowledge and best practices.
So it's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely.
So we've got all these different techniques, observation feedback, role-playing gamification, peer coaching.
Lots of options.
But when it comes to, actually deciding who to coach, should we be focusing on everybody equally?
That's a great question.
Or are there certain groups that, maybe benefit more from coaching than others?
While all reps can definitely benefit from coaching, one strategy that, we've seen some really impressive results with is focusing on the middle performers.
Middle performers.
Yeah.
Okay, so why the middle?
Why the middle?
It seems kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah. You'd think, you focus on your top performers.
Right, or the ones who are really struggling.
Exactly.
So why the middle?
Think about it this way. Your top performers,
Yeah.
they're already performing at a high level.
Right, they're probably getting a lot of attention anyway.
Exactly. So the potential for improvement, may be smaller.
Okay.
And then, those who are really struggling, they might need a more, intensive intervention.
Right.
But the middle group,
Yeah.
that's where you have the most room for growth.
Okay.
And even a small improvement in their performance can have a huge impact on your overall team results.
So it's about finding that sweet spot where you can really get the biggest bang for your buck.
Exactly.
But, of course, we don't want to neglect the top performers or the bottom performers entirely.
No, absolutely not.
They still need coaching.
They need coaching that's tailored to their needs.
Right. It's all about that, personalized approach.
100%.
But, one final thought on this.
Yeah.
Not all top performers make great coaches.
You're so right.
Right. So it's really about, investing in developing those coaching skills
Yes.
within our teams.
Absolutely. Coaching requires a different skill set.
For sure.
It's empathy, it's patience, it's communication.
It's almost like a whole separate job.
It really is. And, sometimes we assume that just because somebody is a great salesperson, that they're automatically going to be a great coach.
Right.
And that's not always the case.
Not always the case.
So, making sure that we're providing those opportunities for development.
For our leaders to become great coaches.
Exactly.
All right. So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
But I think there's still so much more to unpack when it comes to sales coaching.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot more we could talk about.
So let's take another quick break, and then we'll come back for the final part of our deep dive.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right. So welcome back for the final part of our deep dive on sales coaching.
It's been a good one.
It has been a good one. We've talked about a lot.
Yeah.
From the why to some really specific techniques that people can start using today. But I want to dive into, maybe some of the more cutting edge approaches.
Okay.
And also address, I think, some common misconceptions.
Yeah.
That might be holding some sales leaders back from really, embracing coaching in a way that could be beneficial.
For sure. I think, one of the techniques that we're seeing a lot of traction with right now is this idea of micro-coaching.
Micro-coaching.
Yeah. Have you heard of this?
I have heard of it. I'm not sure I totally understand it, though.
Yeah. So, instead of waiting for, these formal sit-down coaching sessions.
Right, like once a month or something.
Yeah, exactly. Micro-coaching is all about delivering these, short, focused feedback moments in real time or shortly after, an interaction has happened.
So it's really about, weaving those coaching moments into the flow of work.
Exactly.
Rather than, treating coaching as this like separate, isolated activity.
100%. Picture this, you've got a rep and they just finished a call. And they were really struggling with a specific objection.
Okay.
Instead of waiting for, their next coaching session, which might be, weeks away, you can provide that immediate feedback.
Right in the moment.
Right then and there. Or, maybe even do a quick, role play with them. Practice a few alternative approaches.
So it's all about really, striking while the iron's hot.
Yes.
While it's fresh in everybody's minds.
Absolutely. It's those little moments, those little adjustments that can make a big difference.
Especially in today's fast-paced sales environment.
For sure.
You've got to be able to adapt quickly.
Absolutely.
But I think, one of the misconceptions that I still hear is that coaching is primarily for underperformers.
Oh, yeah.
Is that something that you encounter as well?
All the time.
Yeah.
People think, oh, coaching, that's for, the reps who are struggling.
Right. They need the extra help.
Right. Exactly.
But that's not really the case.
No, I think it misses the point entirely.
Yeah.
Everybody from, your rookies to your seasoned veterans can benefit from coaching.
It's about continuous improvement.
It is, no matter where you are on that performance spectrum.
I always think about, even Olympic athletes.
Yes.
They have coaches.
They do.
They're at the top of their game. But they still need guidance and support to reach that next level.
100%. Coaching is not about fixing problems. It's about unlocking potential.
Yeah.
Your top performers, they might be hitting their targets.
Yeah.
But are they maximizing their efficiencies?
Right, that they'd be doing even better.
Exactly. Yeah. Are they consistently pushing themselves outside their comfort zone?
Are they getting complacent?
Right.
Yeah.
So coaching can help them to refine their skills and, stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah, because the market's always changing.
Exactly.
And you can't just rest on your laurels.
No, you've got to constantly be learning and growing.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think, another barrier for some sales leaders is that, this perception that coaching has to be this massive time commitment.
Oh, yeah.
That, they just don't have the bandwidth for.
I get that. And it is a valid concern,
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be this all or nothing proposition.
Right.
The key is to be strategic.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Leverage technology to streamline your coaching process. We talked about tools like Meet Record.
Yeah.
That can automate a lot of that call analysis and feedback.
So it frees up more of your time?
Exactly. So you can focus on, those more high-impact coaching conversations.
Right. So it's really about, working smarter, not harder.
100%.
And I think it's also about, just finding those pockets of time where you can make a real impact.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's 15 minutes after a team meeting to review a challenging call together.
Yeah.
Or even just sending a quick message, to a rep with a piece of advice based on something that you observed.
Right. Those little things can go a long way.
They really can.
Yeah.
And I think, it's more about consistency than quantity. Yeah. It's better to have, those regular focus coaching sessions, even if they're short.
Yeah.
Than, these sporadic marathon meetings that overwhelm everybody.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
All right. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one key takeaway that you want our listeners to walk away with?
I would say think beyond the individual coaching sessions.
Okay.
How can you create this culture of continuous learning and development within your entire sales organization?
So it's about shifting the mindset from coaching as a reactive measure to coaching as a proactive, integral part of your sales culture.
Exactly. It should be ingrained in everything that you do.
I love it.
Yeah. Encourage that peer-to-peer coaching. Create opportunities for knowledge sharing and, foster that growth mindset where everybody is constantly learning and evolving.
That's how you build a high-performing sales team.
That's how you win.
I love it. Well, this has been a fantastic conversation.
It has.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into sales coaching.
It's been my pleasure.
And we hope that, you've gained some valuable insights and some practical strategies that you can use to really elevate your coaching approach.
Yes.
And unlock the full potential of your sales team.
I hope so.
Awesome.
Oh.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll see you next time.